From the center of the universe, Toronto, Ontario, Canada, this is the SDM Show with your host, Rob Cairns. The SDM Show focuses on business, life, productivity, digital marketing, WordPress, and more. Sit back, relax, grab your favorite drink, and enjoy the show. Here is Rob.
Hey everybody, I'm Rob Carrington, the founder, CEO, and Chief Digital Strategist at Stunning Digital Marketing. For today's show, I have my amazing friend Jess Frick with me, and Jess and I are going to talk about all about Rocket.net, WordPress, and more. Sit back, relax, enjoy the SDM show is brought to you by Stunning Digital Marketing, the digital marketing concierge that helps you put all your marketing pieces together. We are your marketing experts. We are also your WordPress security experts and know how to lock down a website and protect yourself from bad actors. So contact us at Stunning Digital Marketing today. Hey everybody, Rob Cairns here, and here I am today with an old friend, Miss Jess Frick from Rocket. How are you, Jess?
I'm great, Rob. How are you?
Ah, doing good, living the dream. No, just busy, busy, but that's a good thing. What's has gone on? You're at Rocket, and
Yes,
I am going to jump in and share something we were just talking about. One of the things I've noticed is hosting companies need a lot of finance around them because of the servers, the infrastructure. Those who don't know, I worked in corporate networking for years, so I get it. But a lot of them are owned by equity firms or have done partnerships like you've just done at Rocket. Um, it takes a lot to build a hosting company, doesn't it?
absolutely. And I think on some level, there's, private equity or
Hmm.
similar types of funding in most
Yeah.
hosts. And so I think when partnerships like Rocket's recent one with hosting.com came up, a lot of
Hmm.
people flinched because they've seen those sorts of things go badly.
Yeah.
Um, and so that's why I'm so excited to be a part of this one because it's not going to go badly. It is a true partnership. And Ben, Rocket's founder, was incredibly careful about who he chose.
Yeah.
And now that I've been able to work with the hosting.com team, I understand why he picked them. It really is the best of both worlds. It's a more comprehensive product portfolio. But also, we have the freedom to still operate our business with the same level of customer care that we always have, just with,
Mhm.
the additional resources that come with a bigger company.
Yeah.
But to your point, with that money, a lot of times what we see is, the hosting company just becomes a big spreadsheet and they're trying to squeeze money out of the bottom line. And that
Hmm.
usually comes out on the customers. And obviously, it doesn't happen to you because I know you self-host and do your own thing.
I do.
But for most of our friends that, pay hosting companies to host their websites, they see it in crappier service or, price changes or, just reduction in trust because of
Yeah.
various issues along the way. So I think it's really just about how you do it. But to your point, yeah, it takes a lot of money.
Yeah.
But
And
if you
and
do it right,
and
there's a
point
lot of money in it.
and point and check, you mentioned the word trust, and I think that's really important. I mean, the one thing about running something like WordPress or an open source is you can pick up your website and move it. So I subscribe to a couple of theories. One is no matter how much a host will tell me, because you guys also sell domains, I will never host and register a domain with the same company. It's just one of my I will not do's. I like my risks spread a little bit. Um, but it's getting tough. And support is an issue because the people that jump on hosting for support are generally not people like you and I. It's generally novice users. And there are hosts out there, and I'm not going to name names, that will say their support chat will say, here's an FAQ link, go read it. Well, that's not
Yeah.
support, people. That's not support. That's saying, go away, we don't want to talk to you, right?
For the most part, yeah, they're just kind of waiting for you to come in and say, hey, I lost my password.
Yeah, yeah, it's
But
true.
I think what's different at Rocket, And I want to come back to your domain thing. But I think
Sure,
what's
go
different at
ahead.
Rocket, and I love this, we don't have a scope of support.
Mm.
Which means like we're not going to fix your printer, but we also
Yeah.
don't just like send you off to the plugin creator to figure out what's going on. There may be cases where you actually do need to go to the plugin, but
Hmm.
unlike a lot of other hosting companies that we've both seen, we don't just see a problem there and then it
Yeah.
stops so that we can move on to the next customer because we're churning and burning through them.
Yep.
We
Yep.
actually give people the time. And so I think that that's where the trust comes in and that's where the trust it continues to be built. But
I would
back to
agree.
domains. Who's your
Go ahead.
favorite registrar?
Lately, it seems cheap.
Is
It
it?
has been. Yeah, it has been. I recently looked at Cloudflare recently, but it's somewhere in the middle there, and that's just kind. And interesting enough, Namecheap was just bought by a private equity firm too recently. So I mean,
That's the
it goes
thing.
back to what I was saying, right?
It's going to be PE or VC somewhere along the line, I'm sure.
Well, well,
Um,
it's either P or VC or pension funds, as I said to
yep,
somebody the other day. Like we have that problem in Canada where big companies get bought, and it's this the big one is the Ontario Teachers Pension Fund. It's huge, and it's like they just bought another one, and I keep saying, but who's got that money? Like who's got the infrastructure and the cash and the load to go out and buy any of this stuff? It's those ones, right?
it's true. But again, it's also about having the right partners.
Yeah,
Like we partner with Oakley.
yeah,
As in the hosting.com infrastructure, and they're phenomenal partners.
yeah.
We've heard about other situations where perhaps a PE group exerts more control over
Hmm.
operations. And
Hmm.
so it really just depends on who you're working with. I feel
Yeah.
very lucky to have the team
Yeah.
that we do.
Yeah, I'm sure. Um, One thing we just talked about, hosting's all about trust. I think so.
Yeah.
I think business is all about trust. You and I have talked about that over the years, as long as we've known each other, it's trust. Um,
Well, that or hockey.
big, yeah, or hockey. And by the way, just for the record, since you went there, if you go look at the standings, there's a Montreal Canadiens team at the top of the order right now. So we'll just throw
Well,
that out
it's
there.
still pretty early in the season. I'm just,
Yeah, just putting it out there.
just putting it
Um,
out there, buddy.
Yeah, I know. But
Anyway,
going to
trust.
press. For me, I always say my hosting company or my service provider, so in my case, I manage server farm, okay, has to be my partner in business. I do not treat hosting companies as a vendor client relationship. I think that's a mistake. What do you think about that?
I think your hosting company has vendors, but I think
Yes.
your hosting company is your partner if it's done
Yes.
right.
Yes.
Um, Now, if you are, someone that's just going out and buying a box from somewhere, yeah, that's
Yep.
that's your vendor. But in a managed service like what Rocket
Yep.
has, it's absolutely a partnership. And you mentioned earlier, usually it's not people like us coming into chat at Rocket, it
Yep.
actually is. And that's
Okay.
just because of who our customer is.
Yep.
We have some phenomenally smart people that just don't want to deal with the shenanigans of running their own stack.
Yep.
And so we are absolutely partners with them. Um, though I'm curious as to what you think. What do you think are some characteristics that differentiate a partner from a vendor?
I think a lot of it is how they communicate and take care of their clients. I really do. Um, Having worked in healthcare on big infrastructure projects, and it's how the communication's done, how the workflow's done, how they listen to their clients. I think vendors
Mhm.
just kind of throw stuff at you and basically say, "Here it is, one, two, three, take one and goodbye." And I think that's the big difference,
I totally
personally.
agree.
Yeah. Ah, that's not surprising. Um, Hosting, the first thing that comes to mind for me, because I play in the security space, so I have to go here.
I know you
I'm gonna go.
do.
I know I'm gonna go here. Um, if the host isn't doing a good job of security on their end, And this is where the whole partnership thing for me continues. And we've seen it time and time again. There's hosts that stand there and upsell and they say, and by the way, if you want this security or that security, we'll just charge you more. And my problem with those type of hosts are, and I'm not going to name names. Sometimes when they're out there, they play games to get you to buy that upsell package. And I've seen and past evidence of that. I hate to say it. Um, do you guys take I know you do. You take security very seriously at Rocket.
Yeah, we don't have tiered security.
Okay, that's
Either
fair.
you're secure or you're not. We don't sell secure-ish for less money.
Yep.
Because that would just be bad for our fleet. Like,
Hmm. Hmm.
I do know what you're talking about though, and I think a lot of it is, specifically talking about the hosting industry.
Yep,
Um,
I
I think
am.
a lot of it comes down to the fact that we've got a lot of these hybrid companies that have bought up plugins. And
Mhm.
so they're trying to sell the plugins in addition to the service and, basically trying to increase the revenue per customer. And so they will include certain security measures, but wait, there's more.
Yeah,
And we don't have a security plugin to sell you.
yeah,
We just kind of take care of all that for you, so you don't have to worry about it. But not everybody does what we do.
yeah. No, and I think security is getting very harder and harder to do, truthfully, because of the two words, two letters we all have to put in this conversation. And that's AI. Like I hate to go there, but
Oh my
AI is
gosh, you're
great,
right.
but it's making our jobs really hard right now.
We frequently see people. So that's the thing, I when people come to us and they're like, "Can you make my website PCI compliant?" Well, I can give you PCI capable,
Yep,
services, but what you do to your site is what's going to make it compliant or not. And the same goes true for other kinds of security too. I don't have to tell you, Rob, people do all kinds of terrible things to websites.
yeah,
And to your point with AI, you've got people asking, ChatGPT how to vibe code a this or that. And so they're introducing this code that they don't know what it does. And ChatGPT doesn't know that this company over here already, had a vulnerability with that. And so now they're introducing all kinds of weird stuff that somebody's going to have to untangle.
yep,
And so that's another area where it really pays to have a partner and not a vendor.
yep. I know somebody, and again, I don't like to name names, so I'm not going to. Well known in the WordPress space, who vibe coded her entire CMS to get out of WordPress and posted about it on Substack. And I'm just waiting for this to fall apart like a house of cards because vibe coding doesn't take into account a security audit of the code. And that's the problem.
Well, I think there's a really good place for vibe coding, though. I mean, vibe
Yeah, I
coding is
do too.
phenomenal for prototyping. It's fantastic for helping you just kind of scaffold up some stuff. But obviously you need to know what your code is before you push it. And so, yeah, it can create a lot of problems for you from a security and a performance standpoint.
Yeah. The other problem too is from a security perspective, the hackers are using AI to find the vulnerabilities too. So what we've seen is the time for a vulnerability to release to the time where it drops is almost nothing now compared to what it used to be. It used to be days or weeks or months. I was saying to somebody the other day, I was taking a trip down memory lane and I said, I remember the old DOS days where we all dreaded Michelangelo's birthday because there was a Michelangelo virus out there and it would blow up DOS machines like there were nothing. And
Hmm.
I hated days like that. Now it's like the vulnerability comes out and it's in the wild in hours and minutes, not days, right?
Oh yeah, coordinated attacks have never been easier.
Yeah, yeah, it's so
And
hard.
so it is harder, but that's also why I feel like it's great to partner with a company like Cloudflare, which we do.
Yep,
They specialize in this stuff and they can usually stop the problem before it ever even reaches us.
yep, yep. I think one of the biggest features Cloudflare has actually is Cloudflare Turnstile.
Mhm.
comment for forms. I think experience has shown, and not spam, but spam is still part of security. And I can show instances where using Cloudflare Turnstile with a Forms plugin will cut down on form spam like 200%. So they
They're
do a
so
really good
good.
job with, yeah, they do a good job. And it's not a captcha. And I don't know about you, but captchas drive me insane, right?
Every time I always think of that meme where, the Terminator wants you to find her in the
Yeah, yeah,
Linda Hamilton. Yeah, there we go.
yeah. So there's some of that going on too, right? So, but I think they do a good job.
Absolutely.
It's hard, and I mean it's really hard, especially in the e-commerce space. I mean, e-commerce security's been hard. Um, we're going into Black Friday soon in a month, right? We're getting into retail season.
Hmm.
It puts stress on companies like yours, Jess, because a website going down is like the curse from you know what? It puts stress on guys like me. Um,
Oh yeah. I don't know when this is going to air, but at the time of our recording, AWS recently just had their
yep,
day-long outage. And I was
yep.
looking at the revenue losses just from that one day, and they were eye-popping.
Mhm.
I mean, any
It was
any downtime
incredible.
is, yeah, any downtime's terrible. We don't really see downtime like that. But again, performance is everything because even just a little bit of slowness can make somebody bolt.
Yep. The big thing is too is in the cloud is out of hosting. So we're taking the hosting out of it. There's really only a multiple of big providers: AWS, Google, Microsoft, Oracle, and Cloudflare. I mean, there's some smaller players, but that's like 90% of what's going on out there. And so everybody says, "Oh, why everybody on AWS?" Well, guess what? If Microsoft has problems too, my partner's office, their phone system is all through Teams. And I can tell you, every time Microsoft has an outage, "Oh, how was the phone system today? Oh, let's not talk about it. Oh, yeah, there was a Teams outage that, you know, so it never ends, right? It's what we need to do is start putting in concrete backup plans. And by the way, the AWS outage should teach people you need to do it now, not wait for another outage.
Yeah, redundancies are really important for sure.
Yep.
Especially, if you're a really big company and your website is your money. I mean,
Yep. And
that's
let's
too big of
clarify.
a risk.
Yeah, the AWS issue was not a hack. It was a DNS issue, to be fair.
Hmm.
And I was watching a Canadian news station, which I very rarely do, but I saw a really good breakdown a couple weeks ago during the outage where they actually explained how a DNS worked for a layman my parents could understand it. And it was just
Hmm.
like really it was so simple. Like it's a phone book, right? And that's the way it goes. Yeah.
Yep.
What distinguishes Rocket besides your amazing customer care from another host?
Oh, that's a great question. So, the amazing customer care, I think, is a huge
Yeah.
one. I'm grateful to Christian Taylor, who recently did a breakdown on his podcast of all the major providers, and he actually hired somebody to test their support. And
Yep.
I'm proud Rocket would have tied for first, but he didn't want to tie, and so we were second, but we were really close second.
Yeah.
Um, we'll be first next year. Besides that, performance. I mean, we include Cloudflare Enterprise, and we were first, by the way. Like, we were first to market with
Mhm.
Cloudflare Enterprise with the amount of rules that we have and the
Yeah.
optimizations that we put in place. And by the way, that's whether you host one site with us or 5,000 sites with us. We
Yeah.
still give you that same level of performance all the way through.
Yeah.
Um, Beyond that, we include things like Object Cache Pro where you need it. For your first few sites, we include WP Rocket.
Yeah.
Obviously, if you host 5,000 sites, we'll give you a special link to go buy more. But for your first few sites, or you could pick three if you want. We'll hook that up too. But
Yep.
honestly, I think our special secret sauce comes with the fact that this was built by hosting professionals
Hmm.
who knew there were better ways to do this.
Yep.
Ben is a veteran. He has been in the hosting industry for a very, very long time,
Long time.
and he
Yeah.
built this from the ground up. We have Dave Costin as our CTO. He worked at Cloudflare. He was one of the early, cPanel guys. And so our team is just absolutely incredible, and they're able to roll with the punches of the industry as changes come about. Um, and I think that that gives us a really good edge from the competition.
Yeah.
But to go back to something you said earlier, we were talking about e-commerce, and my goodness, security is always the question, but there's a lot of trouble that comes with running an e-commerce site.
Oh yeah.
Um, Not to pick on WooCommerce, but like just running WooCommerce itself has issues. Like, you've got query loads and, order table problems. A lot of how a host addresses that is the make or break difference between whether your site's going to be
Yep.
fast at scale or not. You
Yep.
could throw PHP at it all you want, but if they don't have that structural rules in place, it's just not going to work as
That's true.
well. Anyway,
Yeah. Since we're talking about e-commerce, does Rocket offer scalability options? So, for example, by that I mean I've got site A. We hit Black Friday. My traffic goes through the roof. So some sites, that's when the site not available messages start. We've
oh,
all seen them, right? Yeah. And then some sites, and we won't talk about which ones, Ticketmaster, don't know how to scale because then they start getting timeouts all over the place. And then there's some hosts that offer scalability where you can opt in and say, okay, if I hit X% of a traffic range, bump me up temporarily. Does Rocket offer anything in that line?
no, we just give you what you need.
Okay, right off
Like for
top.
example, Liquid Web, the
Yep,
way that they do it is, they give you so many workers and they say that they'll auto scale up to the next number. What's
yep,
actually happening is they give you the full number, but then once you pass the regular number, they start billing you.
yep.
At Kinsta, they have this slider, and not to ding on Kinsta, it's very confusing even for me, and I've been in hosting for a really long time too.
I know, yeah.
Um,
Yep.
but you're supposed to adjust based on what you think you need or what you might need. At
Oh,
Rocket,
great.
we just give you an unlimited amount of workers. I mean, obviously, if you are on a shared plan, it's based on availability. If you
Yep,
have something dedicated, you get the whole shebang whenever you need it.
yep.
There's balances for both, um, but I've not found a situation where we weren't able to scale to the customer's needs.
Yeah. My response to most customers, I've got some really high end. I have a client who makes 30,000, $40,000 a day selling custom car parts. And one thing I said to
Wow,
him, long time, yeah,
we're in the
he's a
wrong
big
business,
player.
man.
Yeah, I know we are. And I said to him, and he's like, I want a shared plan or a VPS plan. I said, no, you don't. You want a dedicated box, my friend. And he's like, but why? And I'm like, you got to look how much money the revenue the business is taking in before you say no. And that's always what I say is you got to say what's it worth to you and how do you justify going down and then go
Mhm.
from there, right? So,
Absolutely, you get what you pay for. And I think people they get pound foolish when it comes
yeah,
to hosting prices.
yep,
Think of it like you're paying rent. The $200 storefront is going to be different than the $1,000 storefront. And can you afford to take that revenue hit?
yeah,
Are
yeah,
you going to
that's
make
true.
more than 1,000 more by having that location? Then why wouldn't you do that?
Yeah.
But yeah, here's something that's always been funny to me, and I love that, Ben has always just set it straight. It really comes down to shared or dedicated. And people for
Yes.
a long time got afraid of the word shared, and they're like, don't say shared, don't say shared. We'll call it cloud or,
No,
multi-tenant
no.
or a variety of other
Or
buzzwords. It's either
VP or
shared.
even VPS. VPS is
Yes,
shared.
you're shared or you're dedicated. Like,
Yeah. I agree.
and
I agree with you 100%.
you can isolate them in the shared environment. Like, there's no question you're not like sharing everything, but um, I think people also have a false sense of uh, vulnerability in a shared environment.
Yeah. So I can ask you a good question. Last question is you do hosting, you do web hosting, you do it well.
Yeah, thank you.
Should clients, you're welcome, should clients be using a web host for email, or should they be going to a dedicated email provider? So by that I mean
Oh,
Microsoft, uh, Google, somebody like Fastmail, who I love out of Australia. So that tells you where my stance is. What do you
yeah.
think?
I
What do you think?
personally, me
Yeah,
personally,
yeah,
um, I have never bought domains from my web host,
yep.
and I have never bought email from my web
Okay,
host.
okay, that's fair.
Now that's just me. There are way too many good email options. And also I have worked for a host that did email, and it is an absolute nightmare.
I know it
Now
is. That's why I asked it.
that said, hosting.com does sell email and they do it well. Um,
Yeah,
we're probably going to offer that soon.
yep,
But it really just depends on who the customer is. Some people don't want to have to deal with multiple vendors
I know that.
or partners, and
Yep,
so if they
yep,
just have it all through that one partnership, that's great for them. Me
yep.
personally, I'm a Google Apps girly. Like, I have my own marketplace that I use, like, for jessicafrick.com. That's just me personally.
Yeah,
But different strokes for different folks.
yeah. I think the problem with email is from a host standpoint, and I just know this being a former exchange admin, so I get it, is support. Email adds a complexity of support to the whole mix that I know as a guy in this space, I don't like to be in. I just shake my head. It's hard.
Yeah,
Um,
and the margins are razor thin, but it's
yeah,
it's almost something you got to do when you're offering a certain kind of hosting. People
yeah,
expect it.
yeah. But I also think though, I think from a also a customer perspective, I think there's certain things that dedicated email providers do really well. And that's kind of where I go. And
Well,
I have to
yeah,
admit,
but I mean,
I'm
again, I really need to backtrack because I'm not digging on what hosting.com offers. Um,
yeah,
it's just a different
that's fair.
product than if you
I
were
know
to
it
go
is.
to a
Yeah,
Titan Mail,
yeah, yeah.
or even Google or Microsoft or any of those. It's just
Mhm,
a different
mhm.
kind of product.
Yeah, yeah.
And so if you
It's
don't care, you just need,
yeah,
Jim at Jim's Bait Shack, and you just get emails there sometimes, like, fine, that's totally fine.
yeah. I get that. Hey, Jess, as always, thank you. We need to do this again and not take so long again. But busy people, it's hard, right?
Yeah, well,
And
you've got a wedding coming up, so I don't know what your
uh
calendar is going to be looking like in the coming months.
my calendar's my calendar. It's a disaster. My Everybody calls it a Crayola coloring book. Does that tell you? Because I
I have a
color
question
code.
for you before we go, though. It's a fun one.
Sure. Yeah.
What is your favorite menu item that you're planning to have at your wedding?
Prime rib.
Prime rib,
Yeah.
classic Italian wedding.
Yeah. And we will
Although, are you going to
be
do Italian wedding soup?
yeah, of course. Of course. It's just yeah, prime rib is like the classic, and it's just lamb is very Italian too, by the way. So Christmas will probably be lamb. So not even traditional turkey. So there you go. Hey
That's
Jess,
awesome.
if somebody wants to find out more about Rocket, how's the best way?
Rocket.net. hit us up. We're 24/7. Open up a chat and ask a really hard question and see how they handle it. I think you're going to be impressed.
Yeah. Thanks so much, my dear. Have a wonderful day. Bye.
Thanks, Rob.
This podcast has been brought to you by Stunning Digital Marketing, your digital marketing concierge to help the business owner put all his pieces together, whether it's email marketing, WordPress security, WordPress design and development, PPC, and more. Text Stunning Digital Marketing for all your digital marketing needs today. A very special thank you to Jessica Frick for joining me on this edition of the SDM Show. The SDM Show is dedicated to my late father, Bruce Cairns. Dad, I miss you very much every day. My mother, Ann Cairns, who's still doing really well and is an inspiration. And of course, Tiz Maroney. And Tiz, I know I've said it, but thank you so much for all the inspiration you give me every day.